This isn't just a story, it's a warning. If your dog ever develops a dry, hollow cough, one that only comes at night, don't let them sleep, because that cough is not normal. It's a signal, a sign that something unnatural has crept into your home and taken root in the body of the creature you love most. When my dog started coughing like that, I thought it was a simple illness. I was wrong. It wasn't illness at all. It was something else, something worse, something that mimicked him perfectly, but hid a terrible secret beneath its skin. This thing, this Mimbringer, waits patiently in the dark. It copies the sounds, the movements, even the breath of its host, slowly learning, slowly replacing. It's patient, cruel, and it feeds on your trust. When I first heard that cough echo through the empty rooms of my house, I was terrified. And you should be too. Because it's not just your dog that's at risk, it's everyone who loves them. I hadn't been home for months. Work, life, the kind of distance that makes familiar places feel strange. The drive back was long and silent, the kind of silence that feels thick in your chest, heavy like fog settling into your lungs. The sky was overcast, gray clouds hanging low and motionless, and the trees lining the narrow road bowed like ancient watchers. The house was the same old, weathered place, peeling white paint, wooden steps that groaned underfoot, but the air around it was colder, thicker. It felt like something was waiting for me. Inside, I found Max, or at least, something that looked like Max. His tail wagged weakly, slow and mechanical. His fur was patchy, rough, and dull, hanging off his frame in uneven tufts. When I reached out to touch him, his skin was cold, ice cold, taut over his ribs, which stuck out sharper than I remembered. His eyes were the same warm brown, the eyes of the dog I'd loved for years, but something was wrong. They lacked depth. They didn't shine with life. They just stared, hollow and empty. Max followed me through the house in a stiff, awkward way. His legs bent slightly wrong, his spine arched too high. It was like watching a puppet with broken strings trying to imitate a living dog. But he was there, breathing. Then the coughing started. The first night, it was soft, dry, and rhythmic, echoing off the empty walls like a hollow drumbeat. It was not like any dog cough I'd ever heard. No wetness, no sharp bark, just a rough, breathless rasp that sounded almost like a whisper. It came in waves, pulsing open and shut like a slit breathing in the dark. The cough was almost hypnotic, but deeply unsettling. I watched Max carefully. His body convulsed with each cough, ribs rising and falling, but strangely out of sync with the sound. His breathing was shallow, labored, and uneven, like his lungs were trying to work but failing. Sometimes, his whole body trembled, as if the cough was shaking him from the inside out. I tried to comfort him, to calm him, but it was no use. The cough haunted the night, a dry echo of something terrible. The air in the house grew colder, thicker, as if the shadows themselves were pressing in. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, the cough seemed louder. Every time I opened them, the darkness felt deeper. A few nights later, I saw it clearly. A silhouette standing in the corner of the room. Max's shape, yes, but not Max. This thing was blacker than any shadow, its skin leathery and glistening with wetness. It moved in impossible ways. His limbs bent the wrong way. Its spine arched too high, segmenting its body like a grotesque fusion of dog and insect. It had no eyes, only faint textures where eyes should have been. No mouth either, only a thin, breathing slit that pulsed open and shut with the same rhythm as Max's coughing. The creature's back was lined with thin tendrils, like oversized dog whiskers, stretching upward and attaching to the ceiling corners. They pulsed softly, vibrating with an eerie frequency I could feel in my bones. Its tail wasn't a tail at all, but split into multiple worm-like strands that twitched and dragged along the floor, tapping out soft, rhythmic thumps, like a secret Morse code I couldn't understand. Max lay close by, his breathing shallow, almost gone. His ribcage moved unevenly, swelling and collapsing out of sync, like the thing beside him was puppeteering his body from the inside out. Sometimes, the creature unfurled a long, flexible breathing trunk, like a grotesque snout, that reached into Max's nose and mouth, exchanging breath with him. When I looked away, it retracted quickly, hiding the terrible truth. I was paralyzed with fear. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I could only watch this nightmare unfold in silence. The coughing grew louder, harsher, more violent. Max convulsed violently, as if something inside was clawing to get out, or feeding. The creature beside him mimicked his every breath, his every sound, learning, copying, waiting. Night after night, the coughing echoed through the house like a dark, dry lullaby. The air grew colder still, the shadows thicker, and I could feel the presence creeping closer. The thing was patient. It was cruel. It was hungry. Memories of Max flooded my mind. The way he'd chase after balls in the sun, his joyous bark, the warmth of his body curled beside me on cold nights. This creature was the opposite. It was a parasite, an imposter, a mimic. It wore his skin like a mask, but hid something ancient and malevolent beneath. One evening, desperate for answers, I searched the house and found an old newspaper clipping hidden behind a stack of books. The headline caught my breath. Local dog Max dies after sudden illness. The article was dated 3 months ago, the same month I'd left town. My heart sank. The real Max had been dead for months. But here was this creature, wearing his skin, breathing his breath, coughing his cough. I felt sick. The creature knew. It had been learning, watching, mimicking everything. It had taken over Max's body and was waiting for me to come home. Or maybe it was waiting for something else. I tried to leave, but the house seemed to close in around me. The tendrils from the creature's back stretched and tightened like spider silk, wrapping around my limbs, holding me in place. The worm-like tail strands tapped the floor, sending rhythmic pulses that filled the room with an unnatural hum. The coughing grew louder, filling my ears, drowning out reason. The creature's breathing slit-pulsed, wet and glistening, exhaling cold breath that fogged the air. It was patient. It was watching me, waiting for me to break. If you ever hear that dry, hollow cough coming from your dog at night, do not ignore it. Do not let them sleep through it. The Mimbringer waits in the shadows, learning your pet's every breath, copying their every sound. It's patient, cunning, and cruel. It feeds on life and trust and waits for the perfect moment to replace what you love. If your dog's limbs begin to bend wrong, if their eyes lose their shine, if you hear strange tapping from worm-like tails on the floor, run. Run before it learns to breathe like you, before it learns to mimic your loved ones too. The thing is still out there. It is smarter now, more patient. It's watching, learning, waiting for the next home, the next breath to steal. And one day it will come for you. So listen carefully. If your dog coughs that dry, hollow sound, don't look away. Don't hesitate. Don't let them sleep. Because what breathes with them is not alive. And it's hungry. You might think this is just a story. A strange warning from someone who lost their dog. But it's not. I lived it. I saw it. And I barely escaped. The cough still haunts me, echoing in my dreams, a dry, hollow rhythm reminding me that it's still out there. And if you're listening to this now, that means it hasn't come for you yet. But it will. And when it does, it won't stop until it has taken everything. Please, don't ignore the cough. Don't ignore the shadows. Don't ignore the warning. Because once it learns to mimic your loved ones perfectly, it will be too late.